has arrested after 3 full days of testimony and 10 witnesses. The prosecution believes it has presented enough evidence to convict Justin Johnson for the murder of rapper Young Dolph. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Greg Hurst.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Skurlock, but Johnson is just one piece of this puzzle. Investigators say the true mastermind was Anthony Mims, a.k.a. Big Jook, a high-up at CMG Records and rival of Young Dolph. Jook is also the older brother of Yo Gotti. WREG's Shay Arthur has been covering this trial every step of the way. She's live tonight with the very latest. Shay?
Hey, Stephanie. Hey, Greg. Yeah, another dramatic day here in court. Just minutes ago, Johnson's attorney actually asked a judge that he be acquitted. The judge denied that request and said this case really is up to a jury. Johnson also, he took the stand briefly here and said he has chosen not to testify on his own behalf. He confirmed he went over the pros and the cons with his attorney, and he ultimately decided not to. But really, Stephanie, Greg, much of today, it focused on cell phone records. A forensic expert testifying cell phone towers around Crosstown Concourse where Johnson lived, the gas station where he picked up the stolen white Mercedes used in the murder, Makita's Cookies where Young Dolph was killed, and the apartment where he went after the shooting all showed his phone made contact with cell phone towers around there. Now, another big note today, another expert witness analyzed Johnson's calls and text messages. It showed him receiving a picture of that white Mercedes car the day before the murder. It also showed that, get this, his mother tried calling him at 12:23, the time of Young Dolph's murder. Now, listen to the investigator. He describes the calls during the homicide. Then notice who a call is made to just minutes after.
That time frame was significant for me and the investigators because that was at the same time frame that the homicide was being committed. 12:25:40, Justin Johnson places an outgoing call to Anthony Mims, and it's got a 2-second duration, which appears probably to go unanswered.
At 12:25 time there, again, so that testimony, very telling. He says Justin Johnson's phone records called Big Jook. Investigators say contracted that hit on Dolph's life. Then they say that what appears to be a FaceTime call came in just a short time after. This matches up with what Johnson's accomplice, Cornelius Smith, also accused in the murder, testified earlier this week. He told the jury that moments after the shooting, Johnson FaceTime Big Jook. Again, as you just mentioned here, the prosecution has rested their case. It's now up to the defense to bring witnesses if they choose to the stand. We'll be following it every step of the way. For now, court is adjourned for the day, resumes tomorrow. For your news leader, we're live downtown tonight. Shay Arthur, WREG News Channel 3. All right.
December 17, 2021, our lives changed forever. A son, a father, a brother, a friend, a businessman, a music artist, a philanthropist, and life partner are all among just some of the titles that my brother Adolph Robert Thornton Jr. held. Titles that have now left a missing piece in the lives of so many. I want to say thank you to the jury for their service and decision in this case to bring us one step closer to justice for our family, friends, supporters, and the community that has supported us during this time. Thank you to Judge Mitchell, Shelby County District Attorney's Office, including Paul Hengerman and his team, the MPD, U.S. Marshals, Tennessee Bureau of Investigations, and other investigators and staff that assisted us with this investigation and case, ensuring that those responsible for this crime and involved with this crime have and will be brought to justice for their actions. We realize this act of violence has impacted so many outside of our family and friends. Your outpouring of love and support throughout this process does not go unnoticed.
To help. Legends in the music industry were also shocked following the shooting death of a performer at the peak of his career.
WREG's Drita Patterson has reaction from a Memphis musician who says, fortunately, Young Dolph leaves behind a legacy of great music and giving back.
It was a crime that shook this community to its core. Just days ago, while visiting Makita's Cookie Store along Airways Boulevard, Memphis' own rapper Young Dolph was gunned down, forever silenced at the young age of 36. Someone who knows the power of music from all genres is Larry Dotson.
I'm the son of a bitch!
The former lead singer with the legendary Barcades has been creating music for nearly half a century. He knows this is a loss that will be felt for many years to come.
It's so unfortunate happening to young Dolph, who was another kid who was trying to remold his image.
Misfortune for not only his many fans, but a huge loss to this South Memphis community, one young Dolph was proud to support.
He's been, for the last few years, he's been having Thanksgiving giveaways.
Sadly, it's now a community at the center of a murder investigation.
It's unfortunate. The streets are terrible, for a lot of different reasons. But we just kind of, each one, our prayers go out for young Dolph and the entire family.
When it comes to what happened here at Makeda's, take a look at this memorial. It really speaks volumes, and that is what Memphis police are hoping for, as they do not want what happened here to remain shrouded in silence. Reporting in South Memphis, Jorita Patterson, WREG, News Channel 3.
And the investigation into young Dolph's death continues. Call Crime Stoppers with any information that could help detectives. On a straight drop is accused of shooting young Dolph outside a Memphis cookie shop almost 3 years ago. But today, prosecutors told the jury it was actually a man known as Big Jook who ordered the hit. They claim Big Jook was high up a record label, CMG, a rival of young Dolph. Big Jook, who was the older brother of well-known rapper Yo Gotti, was killed earlier this year outside a Hickory Hill nightclub. WREG Shay Arthur has been in the courtroom all day and is live with the latest details. Shay, what have you learned?
Alex, I just stepped out of the courtroom just a short time ago. That testimony is still ongoing. It's really been going on really this entire day in this highly anticipated trial that really so many, just not across Memphis, but across the country, have been following. Young Dolph, loved by so many here in the Bluff City. Security here at the court, very, very tight. There's extra police officers up inside there around the courtroom. You have to go through 2 metal detectors to actually get inside that courtroom. And the prosecution and the defense, they've been telling some very different stories about who is to blame here in the rapper's death.
Justin Johnson, one of the men accused of shooting young Dolph outside a Memphis cookie shop, sat stoic in court. Shelby County prosecutor Paul Hagerman painted the picture of the day of the crime for the jury, who was brought in from out of Shelby County. Hagerman says Johnson, an aspiring rapper known as Straight Drop, shot Dolph along with a second man, Cornelius Smith. He says the shooting comes after a $100,000 hit was ordered by Big Jook, who was high up at CMG, a rival record label and the older brother of rapper Yo Gotti. The contract hit was arranged by a third man, Hernandez Govan. Investigators say Govan would seek out new talent for CMG and also provided drugs to Smith. The jury was shown the moments young Dolph was killed outside Makeda's Cookies. Hagerman said to Johnson and Smith the shooting was, quote, just business.
What we watch up here is so quick. And we watch it and we call it violence. That's a man with a family and with a life who's laying at the edge there in the yellow, riddled with bullets, dead. We watch that and we call it violence. For Cornelius Smith and for Justin Johnson, it was just business.
But Johnson's attorney says his client is innocent, saying there's 2 sides to every story, and Govan was using Johnson.
You like to exploit. You like to exploit young rappers. Like Mr. Johnson. He brings no skill to the table, but you're going to hear a testimony about how he intended. It was his sole mission to get a 30 to 60% piece of Mr. Johnson.
Shelby County District Attorney Steve Mulroy was also present, speaking to us about the trial finally happening nearly 3 years after the shooting.
Great anticipation. I mean, this is the culmination of a lot of years' work. There's been a lot of work done by our staff in the DA's office and also by law enforcement to bring the people responsible for this tragic killing to justice, and that's what we're going to do this week.
And Alex, really so far in the case today beyond those explosive opening statements that we heard, those accusations there from the prosecutor? We also heard from the sister of young Dolph, along with one of his former security guards. Currently, right now, Cornelius Smith, he is the second man, along with Justin Johnson, accused of shooting young Dolph there in front of Makita's cookie store. He's currently under cross-examination by the defense. We'll hear from him tonight at 5 o'clock. I'm going to go back up.
For killing young Dolph gets 35 more years tacked onto his sentence, meaning Justin Johnson could be in his 70s before he's even considered for parole. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Greg Hurst.
Hello, I'm Stephanie Skurlock. The additional sentences were handed down in court this morning. WRG's April Thompson was there as a judge described Johnson's crime as one full of envy and greed.
Justin Johnson was already convicted and sentenced to life for the killing of Memphis rapper Young Dolph. Friday, he was back in court for sentencing on 2 additional charges: conspiracy to commit the murder and being a convicted felon in possession of a handgun. Prosecutors stress Johnson already has several aggravated assault convictions, extreme criminal behavior, and is a danger.
The risk of life to individuals other than the victim in the case. The state would ask you to set maximum sentences.
But Johnson's attorney said additional years to a life sentence would be excessive. He maintained Johnson was never a leader in this crime.
The individuals that were on the ground in front of that cookie store that day were not leaders in an offense. They were manipulated by others.
Judge Jennifer Mitchell went back over testimony about the killing of young Dolph 3 years ago outside Makita's Cookies on Airways, saying Johnson showed a lack of regard for life.
These were crimes that were committed in our community in the middle of the day, in broad daylight, other people around. For greed.
She sentenced Johnson to 35 years for conspiracy and 15 for being a felon with a handgun, to be run concurrent to each other. They will be served consecutive with the life sentence he already had.
I think today's result, sends a very useful message that this kind of violence won't be tolerated, and we will do what we need to do to make sure that people who are dangerous stay locked up so they can't get out onto the streets again.
But not guilty in the killing of Memphis rapper Young Dolph, Hernandez Govan was accused of organizing the ambush, but not of pulling the trigger. And prosecutors say he helped plan the hit, but the jury wasn't convinced. Govan's lawyer argued the evidence was weak and that a key witness couldn't be trusted. Young Dolph was shot and killed in 2021 while visiting a bakery in Memphis. The rapper was known for his music and his community work.
WRG's Harrison Klopp has reaction to the news and explains what could come next. November 17th, 2021 at Makita's Homemade Cookies on Airways Boulevard. This is where the bloodshed began, as Memphis rapper Young Dolph was shot 22 times. And today, the man who was accused of setting up the hit, Hernandez Govan, walked out a free man. Maurice Hill is the owner of Makita's.
Oh, man, that guy was great. Yeah, he was great. When he first started coming, he was kind of arrogant. He'd come in and say, "What's hot?" And then after asking what's hot, he would start telling us to bake him some cookies. And he'll wait on them, and we'll bake him some. But he was a giver. He was like a breath of fresh air for the city,
When asked if justice was served after the non-guilty verdict, Hill answered quickly.
No, not today with the verdict. No, sir. No, not with the verdict today. I don't think justice was served.
Laura Callums, who drove from St. Louis to pay her respects to Dolph, felt the same way.
I mean, even if you didn't pull the trigger, you're still the mastermind behind it. So you still should have did some time.
But was he the mastermind? After 3 days of testimony, jurors clearly had their doubts. And now, with Govan being set free, the question for many is what's next? WRAG has reported on 3 deaths that are possibly related to Dolph's murder, including Destiny Govan, Hernandez Govan's daughter, who was killed in a Houston shooting in September of 2022. Her death came 2 months before her father was indicted in the Young Dolph case. In June of 2023, Joshua Taylor, a person of interest in Dolph's murder, was shot and killed in Orange Mound. And in January of 2024, Anthony Big Jook Mims, the brother of rapper Yo Gotti, and the man who allegedly ordered the hit on Young Dolph, was shot and killed at a nightclub in Hickory Hill. After the verdict, we drove by Prive, the Hickory Hill restaurant owned by Memphis rapper Yo Gotti, Big Jook's little brother, who notoriously was feuding with Dolph, only to find the establishment largely empty outside. In the South Memphis neighborhood where Dolph grew up, we met a man who was best friends with the rapper's father. The man had been following Govan's case closely and told us anonymously he wouldn't be surprised to see a violent retaliation.
I think it's pretty likely. I think when he suggested that he's going to leave town immediately, kind of suggested that there may be some type of retaliation against him.
Lemoyne professor Reverend Dr. Earl Fisher, who is close with young Dolph's family, says he wouldn't be surprised, but hopes people can let it go, come together, and heal.
I'm pretty sure I'll be texting with Dolph's child's mother, Mia, and I'll be at
There may be some type of retaliation against him.
Lemoyne professor Reverend Dr. Earl Fisher, who is close with young Dolph's family, says he wouldn't be surprised, but hopes people can let it
fast and prayerful.
In South Memphis, Harrison Klopp for your news leader, WREG, News Channel 3.
A father of two, the latest victim of gun violence in Memphis. They were too upset to do an interview, but Tellis Taylor, also known as CEO TZ, was found shot to death in Orange Mound Wednesday at Spotswood and Bunton. Those who live nearby tell us Taylor was actually shot the night before, discovered lifeless in a car hours later. MPD says the investigation is ongoing, refusing to answer any questions about the case or whether it has any link to Memphis rapper Young Dolph. In November 2021, Dolph was killed outside a South Memphis cookie store. 3 months later, MPD called Taylor and another man persons of interest. Taylor was reportedly questioned but never charged. Those close to the case tell us Taylor is part of a group, the same group linked to the suspects charged in connection with Dolph's murder. Taylor's death has left the community on edge, as many fear the violence isn't over, that retaliation will only continue. Last week, Jamarcus Johnson pleaded guilty to 3 counts of accessory after the fact in Dolph's murder. Johnson was accused of helping the alleged shooters, one of them being his half-brother, get away.
He has to tell the truth. That's what this guilty plea is hinged on. He has to tell the truth.
Jamarcus Johnson is out on bond. He'll be sentenced in August. We've asked the DA's office if he'll get any protection, but haven't heard back. And going back to Taylor's killing that happened yesterday, loved ones tell us this loss has really hit them hard. They're just devastated, especially for his children. Now, Greg, I just checked my email, and I did hear back from the DA's office. They were saying they're limited on what they can say, so their investigation isn't compromised. But, of course, we're going to continue to press for answers.
Yeah, and you're right. Those left behind are always the ones who suffer the most.
Yeah.
All right, Jess, thanks.